It's up to you. You can use your magic to pull the brambles apart. Come on, Twilight. You have to be stronger than she is. You are not Midnight Sparkle! No!
That is yet another day saved again thanks to the leadership and determination of Sunset Shimmer, bringing that total up to 3. Now for Starlight, who has yet to get a decent score on the board.
The hunger of changelings can never be satisfied.
Exactly! Thorax left the hive and made a friend. He shared love, and now he doesn't need to feed. Sharing love is what made you different to begin with. You should share yours with Chrysalis! Give her all of it!
Oh, do we have it? Oh, wait, that was more Thorax and the rest of the changelings saving the day, with just merely a little encouragement from you. Good try, though. Definitely a lot more of an impact than the crystalling. Better luck. Okay, who am I kidding? I can't fool any of you. This finale was amazing, not only for Starlight, but the other characters involved as well. 2016 was a fantastic year for these two. For me, Legend of Everfree is number 2 in terms of Equestria Girls movies, and To Where and Back Again is my favorite finale. Now, it's strange. There was a pretty clear split for the Season 5 finale on what was liked and what was hated, and I completely understand the faults and shortcomings with the reformation of Starlight Glimmer. Yet, when it comes to this finale, even more than a month later, I have yet to see a general consensus. I've seen plenty of comments of people that love it, but mostly on videos that are already praising it, and I've seen comments that hate it, but again, mostly on videos that either hate the episode or just Starlight Glimmer in general. That's why before I begin, while this video will be praising the finale, don't hesitate to object to my opinion in the comments. Just know I'll be ready to respond back, possibly in song if need be. Since my previous video, which left Sunset after the Friendship Games and Starlight after a heartwarming tale, now we have Legend of Everfree and the rest of Season 6, or really every little thing she does and To Where and Back Again. So one of the biggest things I noticed after rewatching these again is a much stronger comparison, because many people have pointed out that comparing Sunset to Starlight is not the fairest comparison, due to one getting screen time in a film medium with more than twice the time devoted to their story as opposed to the show medium. So one commenter in regards to the Season 6 finale said I should compare Twilight to Starlight. I mean, there's definitely something there in terms of magic and their reforming abilities, but not much else. However, this comparison does work for another Twilight. I was so focused on this comparison when it should be this comparison. To some extent. Roll with me here. We have a character in this world versing herself in the study of friendship, meeting a character gifted with a unique power that she at first uses in ways that corrupt her psyche. That is, until the friendship studier understands where this character is coming from, and no longer willing to fight, this character is offered a better life with new friends, despite the mistakes in the past she made. However, this past will not escape her as she tries to become accustomed to her new life. Even after finding a friendship in a character with similar interests as her, she still has a hard time moving on, constantly fearing she will turn back to the life she mistakenly started. It is not until her new friends and mentor alleviate her fears, helping her to embrace the good in her previous choices, and use them to save the day and gain a better appreciation for herself. So if people agree that this character has had a complete story arc, providing an impact on her series, how can you say that this one has done none of those things for the show or the audience? Now, before you're so quick to agree or disagree with me, let me touch on one detail that's pretty glaring. The biggest thing here to refute is human Twilight Sparkle, or I guess, what do they call her? Sci-Twi? It's almost as bad as Sweetie Bot. Whatever. I'm just calling her Twilight. You can see the character I'm referring to, unless you're just listening to this, then I'm impressed you've managed to keep listening, especially after that really vague comparison. Anyway, Twilight for one thing never had any evil intentions, while Starlight did, whether it was brainwashing to agree with her ideologies, or plotting to destroy one measly friendship, no matter the consequences. Many people have pointed out that while Twilight was persuaded into corrupting herself, and Midnight Sparkle is not the embodiment of her true intentions, Starlight clearly wanted to destroy Twilight, even when she is shown the destructive power this plan can cause. So she is just terrible for risking the end of a life just for a petty revenge scheme. Here's the thing, Twilight says this is one outcome of many, meaning in Starlight's mind, this may not happen. And she is also exhibiting believable denial here. You've probably seen an argument or a video where the person is clearly saying the wrong thing. I get it. And you try your best to persuade them differently. But the longer you go at it, the clearer it becomes that there is no changing that mindset. You end up just ignoring that content because it's not going to lead to the end of the world. But this means that Twilight can't ignore Starlight. She's instead going to give a better outcome. One where there is no fear for herself and Starlight. Still, for the audience, it is easier to sympathize with human Twilight when she desires to reform her life and seeks to join a previously established friend group. Unlike Starlight, who was just forced into this friend circle because apparently the Princess of Friendship will just accept any old apology. Okay, let's talk about that word, forced. Now, when I think of forced, I think of Season 1 Twilight in episodes like Stairmaster, Showstoppers, Green Isn't Your Color, and so many other episodes where she's just there to reiterate the message but provides no other purpose to help the conflict. If Starlight was forced into Season 6 like people say, there should be some episodes where a definite appearance could be written out or provides no impact to the episode. And I'm not counting episodes like Spice Up Your Life and Top Bolt, because she lives in the castle, so it makes sense for her to at least be present. That would be like complaining Mr. and Mrs. Cake are present in Sugar Cube Corner while the girls are meeting there. So let's see. Crystalling. If she wasn't there, then you can forget about Sunburst ever being in this story, or a story afterward with Flurry Heart having a magical guardian. No Second Princess is one of her 2 specific friendship lesson episodes, so no episode without her. And no Trixie in the finale without this episode. Heartwarming Tale is one episode that could have a valid argument for her not being necessary. Just replace her Scrooge character with someone else. But good luck finding another character obsessed with magic as the immediate solution to problems. Maybe Discord, but his dystopian future would just be one without Fluttershy. Times they are a changeling. This is another one where her being there doesn't provide too much of an impact, but this allows her to know who Thorax is, and it's more of a Spike episode anyway. Every little thing she does. The other friendship lesson episode that expands more on her reliance on magic and her hesitancy to making friends that was just kind of touched upon in the Crystalling. And finally, To Where and Back Again, bringing together every character she encountered. And if you say, why did she have to be the one to save the day? Well, living in the castle would make her the first to realize something is off about the princess and her friends, and she does have the best relations with most of the others on this journey. If you have someone else in mind, be my guest to enlighten me. Huh? Oh right, this video is about another character too. Okay, Sunset, were you forced into your story? No, you weren't. In fact, we needed you to be there, whether it was to provide some levity for Twilight's sulking, or the leadership to help the rest with their new powers. But probably the best thing you did was finally give Flash some actual character development. I mean it, no longer pining for a girl that is not the girl you think she is or not into you, shows a character who is willing to get to know someone first before starting a relationship. So you go out there, Flash, and Sunset, I hope you stay friends with him just so he's not alone in this world, or at least doesn't just have guy friends. Because Sunset is showing more and more she is there to bring out the best in other characters. It's why I will never argue with someone that Sunset isn't a great character. Sunset's issue herself was feeling impactful in her new friend circle. She was given a second chance to turn the school's opinion around on her, so she was determined to find a way to make them see the best out of her, which she succeeded. Not once, not twice, but 3 times. Starlight's issue was not this. In fact, she makes it apparent throughout the season that she does not want to provide an impact on the world, because of her fear in her past and more of a desire to just further her magical abilities with the best teacher she could get. Magic has always been her solution to everything in life up until this point, and has allowed her to get by in life avoiding failure. Failure to keep friends again, or failure to complete her mentor's orders. So how do you develop a character who has used magic as her crutch? Have her solve a problem without it. She feared relapsing back into her past mistakes because she would most likely rely on her magic to do anything. But this finale proves to her she can lead a group, she can make smart rational decisions without magic, so she has no need to fear in her past and face it head on. This came into play with her village, making friends with Trixie and other consequences as she proclaimed. Or I guess, lack of consequences, since people are so quick to point out she was just handed the easiest life after Reformation. Now, I've said before, I have had no issues with Starlight's Reformation, and don't want to focus too much on her this entire video. So, I've addressed those issues in a supplementary video for those who are not as open to Starlight as me. But for now, I want to go back to Sunset in Legend of Everfree and her newfound power. So, according to Megan McCarthy, Sunset would be the element of empathy. A 7th element that was not previously established and clearly just a way for Sunset to be on the same playing field as the other 6, keeping this franchise going? Well, I'm completely neutral to this entire idea. Yeah, I mean, it'd be out of nowhere if this is true, but who might argue with more development as her being a leader of this group? But this does raise up one issue that is back to her comparison with Alicorn Twilight, and her impact on the series. Mainly that she kind of has none at the moment. Think about Season 6. How many episodes had Twilight really faced a difficult conflict? This one being a dual lesson with her and her pupil. This one being her map quest. One where she could have been substituted out for Fluttershy, who is also not well versed in farming and would be calm enough to follow step-by-step instructions. And then there's Pony Point of View, and if Sunset was faced with this episode, it would literally be over once they got off the train. Just touch one of them and boom, she knows what actually happened. That has always been Twilight's greatest issue to overcome in her problems, is understanding what others are thinking and how to help them as opposed to her own thought process. Rainbow Rocks and Friendship Games provide a good conflict for Sunset, but not this movie. Even when she is dead set on the wrong conclusion, there are no consequences for it. Timber never learns she thought he was evil and almost convinced Twilight of it. Sunset seems to no longer have strong conflict, so what more can you do to challenge her character? And maybe you see another issue is Sunset has become too relatable. Back during Season 6, even though Twilight didn't have too many episodes focused on her, she could still be part of the main 6, and her established personality still shines through to keep her entertaining, like in the Saddle Row review. Sunset has been the main character, or shared the main character spot for 3 movies now, and this new power will mean she might need to be pushed aside to let other characters deal with their issues. But is she still going to stand out supporting them? Her whole appeal was dealing with her mistakes in this reformation. Well, I don't think she has to worry about people hating her. She should no longer feel left out of her new friend circle, considering they all have powers and matching transformations to boot. I mean, look how gorgeous and marketable everyone is. Sunset has definitely succeeded in making a strong impact on the audience. But she's failing in what Starlight succeeded to do this entire season, is make an impact on herself. Oh, that's just like you, Starlight, always talking about yourself and the mistakes you made. Get over it, you terrible character who should not be part of the show. All you do is mess things up and complain. Ugh, you're so annoying. Okay, I'm gonna stop that before I get too annoying. Yes, Starlight is constantly bringing up herself about how much she messed up in the past and trying to invoke pity from others and the audience. However, Sunset has done the complete opposite of that and trying to avoid mentioning her past, because the only ones who ever bring it up are the rest of them, and mostly for a no offense gag, which Sunset shrugs off with a none taken, showing that she won't let it get to her. And when she does think about past mistakes, she still tries to brush it aside because she wants to focus on more of her friends in the now, which is a great role model for kids, someone who doesn't dwell on their past mistakes. However, don't ignore them entirely. The whole point of making mistakes is so you can learn from them. Starlight knows not to bottle up her feelings now, not to rely on magic to solve all her problems, and not to be so hesitant to provide leadership, because she's learned the right and wrong ways to lead. And she doesn't dwell solely on these thoughts either. She can still find joy in learning new magic and not feel awkward around her teacher, whose life she tried to destroy. But even learning new things about herself, there's still more insecurities to handle. Ooh, and let me just say one thing about this shot. I don't know about anyone else, but I love when we're given a shot of a character's bedroom. Something about it makes the character seem more real, and like, here's a glimpse of their private life. Seriously, Sunset, where do you live? Where can we see Sunset without the presence of her friends? A glimpse into who Sunset is as a character. I may be weird, but I think seeing a character in their bedroom gives a more private viewing of, and now that I've said that out loud, I realize how weird it sounds. Anyway, Sunset needs to be more than everyone's friend here to help. She needs to exhibit some insight into her character, or just something to base future stories from. Because as much as you were allowed to rant about all the changelings transforming and not doing anything to capture Chrysalis when she is at her weakest, this gives Starlight her own rival. She compared herself to Chrysalis to show empathy, and now Starlight has her own Starlight to worry about. And even one that could be watching her in her plain sight, disguised as anything. There's so much more in store from her. And she is still taking steps to embrace her leadership skills. Probably the only pony who has overcome more steps than her is Fluttershy. But with Fluttershy, when she is no longer the one dealing with problems, she can now become the one to help confront the problem. Sunset, with her new power, has become the last resort solution to the problem, but not much else. Now, I've said a lot of pessimistic things about Sunset, so I'll finish by saying I will have no problem if these upcoming specials can prove me wrong, and base a story around Sunset, or put her in the support and keep her dynamic and interesting. I'm looking forward to them and Season 7, where hopefully we get more stories of the main 6, and just some Starlight and Trixie sprinkled in there. No! Not like that! Oh, you're still here? Okay, fine, I know what you're waiting for. So, Legend of Everfree. Since one of my favorite characters is Diamond Tiara, how do I feel about the villainizing of Filthy Rich, who was so kind in the show? Here's the thing. This is not the show. This is not even Equestria. And for me, they can do whatever they want. This is not Celestia and Luna in human bodies. These are different characters. Now, if you make them flat and boring, then I have an issue. But Filthy Rich was portrayed as a smart businessman and was a nice fuel for Glorios's fire. He wasn't even the villain either, just an antagonist, and I look forward to some cunning business practices out of him if they want. But for now, he was like Diamond Tiara and Call the Cutie, so they can go nowhere with him or somewhere. All I'm saying is Hasbro, DHX, do what you want with your characters, just keep them interesting. But if you throw in Spoiled Rich and she is not the most wonderful mother ever, I take back everything I said, so make your move.